Hey, folks. I tried to do one a minute ago. I don't know what happened, actually. Um, so, the tobacco belt, i.e., District 61, where I'm running for delegate, part of the tobacco belt is in District 61. And it was the mainstay for many years. I mean, everybody knows it. But there was also crops, too, years ago that used to be common hemp. All the founders had hemp. And they used it for rope and many other things. There's actually an invitation to a meet and greet or a party that Ben Franklin did at one time, and he said the attire of the evening is your best hemp clothing. Um, so it was just a common crop. They've It's legal now, but there's full of regulations. I mean, farmers can have their whole crop bush hogged down if they've got more THC content than they're supposed to have. So part of my platform is to help legalize marijuana regardless. I mean, it's past time to get it done. It's coming off the Class 1 Controlled Substance Act more than likely in the U.S. There's been no court cases that have said the states can't make it. So we just need to go ahead and legalize it. And people can reap the rewards of the crop. Um, because if not, we're going to get left behind. Virginia's going to get left behind on it. The second part of things we want to talk about is if you ride around Virginia, in our area, there's all these abandoned houses that nobody's lived in, and these old farmhouses that are deserted, and they were once beautiful farms. And we've done that to ourselves in one sense because we have told, we've allowed our teachers and our educational system to tell our kids that manual labor's beneath them. Go to college, do what you want to do, and, go to college and get a college degree and go make a lot of money. But then all the kids move away. All the kids that I went to school with, not all, but a good half of them are in Raleigh or Richmond or somewhere else. People forgot that that's just how our country was built, right? I mean, we need to bring a lot of that back. And I think there's a need for it, especially in, Mecklenburg and Lunenburg counties and those areas. We need to get that family farming back, and we need to get the interest from the kids back into farming and working the land. And I think it was a simpler time, and I think we've lost our way in a lot of things. And this is just one of them. The hemp deal, um, we really need to push it. I mean, I know my opponent has been, a great friend of the farmers over the years. There's no doubt there. But farming has changed. I mean, the way he thinks of farming and the way farming is now is a whole different ball of wax. And there's not only hemp, there's a lot of other alternative crops. I mean, you go out Washington State now, there's, you know, lavender fields, which lavender is a big cash crop, and there is all kinds of alternative crops we need to look into. If we go back to Thomas Jefferson's time, Thomas Jefferson was the first person to ever take the risk and get out of a lot of tobacco. He started raising some other crops that weren't common at the time. And so there's a lot of other things, and we have to reach out to some of these businesses, help our farmers find an outlet for some of these crops. For instance, over in West Virginia, a company had, when hemp became legal, they actually made like bamboo flooring and all. And so what they've done with it is they converted part of that factory to take hemp fiber to make hemp fiber for flooring and things like that. So, I mean, this is something to look at. There's a pellet mill in Victoria. They make hemp pellets. It wouldn't be hard to use hemp fiber to make those wood pellets to burn in pellet stoves and stuff like that. I mean, that's just things that a legislator needs to get out here and look and say, hey, what do we have to do as a state to help you move in this direction? There's also another thing we need to talk about since the pandemic has really showed its showed some inconsistencies. Tom Massey tried to push a bill through. Nobody wanted to support it. He wanted to push a bill through to allow farmers to sell their crop directly to the public. We have some cottage food laws, but they're not far enough, right? I bought beef from a farmer this year, and literally, I bought it off a cow that he raised, so he had to take it to a USDA butcher, get it butchered, and then bring it back and sell it to me with a huge markup. Where if he'd have been allowed to do that directly, I'd have got cheaper beef. He'd have got a product. Hamburger now is like $7 a pound. And, honestly, really, that's ridiculous. And it shouldn't be that much. And farmers had to kill thousands of hogs and thousands of cows and thousands of chickens because they didn't have an outlet for it, because the government helps them keep their price to where they want it. It's protectionism. That needs to stop. Farmers, and then the farmers actually had to get bailouts because of that. Federal dollars. That's ridiculous. Why can't a farmer sell his milk directly to me? Why can't a farmer sell his beef directly to me? People say, oh my God, what about the spoiling? You don't have to treat meat. Well, guess what? We hunt. We fish. We know how to take care of meat. How many people do you hear about going to the hospital getting sick from food poisoning from deer meat they've eaten every year? I want an honest to God, because if somebody knows, I don't, because I can't find any info on it. I don't even think it exists. And how many thousands of deer are killed in the state? Okay. Point is, people know how to take care of meat. People know how to take care of themselves. That we don't need the government, state or federal, telling us what we can and can't do and what we can't put in our bodies. That's what it's all about. Whether you agree with things like marijuana legislation or not, the point comes down to is, why should the government tell us? If they can tell us that we can't use a plant, then they can tell us what we can eat and what we can't eat. It's really ridiculous, folks. And this is the kind of things we need to work. And that's what's going to help the farmers. Help the farmers market their product directly to the public. Easier, and help the farmers be self-sustaining, because most of the farmers do not like to depend on government money just to make it. It's really creating a dependent system on the federal government, and that's wrong in so many levels, and it doesn't teach people to take care of themselves. Look me up, guys. I'm gonna also post this to YouTube, and I'll post the YouTube link, and I really need folks to like my YouTube page, because once I get to 1,000 likes, then I can go live on YouTube instead of having to go on Facebook and then transfer it over. I appreciate your support. We'll be talking a lot more about a lot of things. Any subjects you want to talk about, hit me up and we'll address them. I appreciate it. Talk to you later.